All right, so this car was previously on a Cobb setup, and it is now going to an Emtron. You may recognize the oil cooler on it. This is Josh's car. I made a measly 570 wheel on ethanol, like 30 pounds of boost. It now has a different turbo because apparently I was too hard on that last one and it didn't live. We asked a little too much of it, I guess. Plus it was older. Oh wait, no, it wasn't. That was a new turbo, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's 900.
This one here, yeah. So this one here is a G3900. The one that came off it was a GTX 3076 Gen 2, which they flow a lot. But you can hurt them if you try too hard. So this is a G30, so the new Garrett G30 900, which is going to be a little bit of a ridiculous upgrade, I think. But I think it's going to put us in a, even at the same horsepower level, I think it's going to put us in a way more efficient zone on the compressor map and the turbine. So I'm looking forward to that. So he wanted some cooler features that Cobb just can't provide because it's on factory ECU. So we're getting an Emtron in this, but with the Emtron, we're getting one of the BT Innovations 3.5-inch touchscreens that you can enable all kinds of features on. You could turn boost up and down if you want, as long as I set it up for that. Adjust traction control things and display gauges, as well as enable and disable logging. So that's what we're going to do. I don't have one to show you yet, but I will at some point. So right now, Lane is installing the T-map sensor. I've talked about it in previous posts, but the T-map sensor, the T stands for temperature, and then the map is manifold absolute pressure. So what we do is we put the T-map sensor in the charge pipe before it goes into the throttle body. That throttle body is right here on this car, under that runner. So the T-map will measure temperature and pressure on this side of the throttle body, and then the factory map sensor, well, not factory, but a map sensor in the factory location will monitor pressure in the manifold. And then the Emtron, knowing the size of that throttle body, knows how much available surface area is in that throttle body, which is basically an orifice if you look at it that way. And if you know the differential pressure across the orifice and the temperature of the air, then you can know the flow rate through it. And by knowing the temperature and the pressure, you also know the density, so you can know the mass of the air going in it. And so that effectively operates as a sort of a mass airflow sensor. And so what we have is basically a MAF at the throttle body. And that tells us precisely how much air is going to the engine. Now, it's most accurate at low and transient throttle positions. At wide open throttle, there's a little bit of variance in the reading as to how well it can read, but that's great because we're not using it for the top end necessarily. We're using it mostly for everything in between, and the cars run minty once you get it right. And then for the top end, we're going to use a combination of speed density, which is just the pressure, temperature, and volumetric efficiency, and the exhaust manifold pressure. So he's going to add an EMAP sensor to this as well, and then that's going to help determine how much massive air is actually in the engine at higher loads as well. And so with the Emtron, I can use all three of those methods: TMAF, speed density, and pressure ratio. Use all three of those fuel modes models to calculate how much mass airflow is going into this engine, and therefore have it operate correctly. So I can set all three of those up, and I can blend them so that in one position, when one of them is the most accurate, say TMAF in the mid-range, that will be the dominant one. And I can blend in any percentage of the other two that I want to that point. But then at the top end, when speed density and pressure ratio are those most accurate, I'll turn the TMAF ratio down a bunch, so it'll hardly even look at the TMAF at all. It'll only use those two up there. So you can really get a good running engine with the various fuel models all running simultaneously. I got some wicked allergies. It's been terrible. Anyways, so that is what's going on with this car today. Screen's not here yet, unfortunately, but it will be getting the screen. We'll be getting the Emtron, and it's going to get all kinds of fun motorsports features with a fully functional SI drive and all that, which is good because This car is built for hill climb. Now, it doesn't look like it right now because the coilovers aren't on it. They're going to be here in a little while, but it's a fun local hill climb car, which there's a lot of those over here in the Northwest. Anyways, if you have any questions about the Emtron and this car, feel free to shoot me an email, dominic@getitontune.com. Join the Discord, which you can find on the website at shop.getitontune.com, and we can talk about what your race car might need in the future. Hi.